If you're a first-time homebuyer or someone interested in learning about the home buying process, you came to the right place. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 8 phases of the home buying process that I wish I knew back when I bought my first home. Buying a home is a huge financial decision and responsibility. As a first-time homebuyer, you probably have the same questions I had. Questions such as, where do I begin my homeownership journey? Or who can I ask for advice? Or do I qualify to buy a home? And if I do, how much can I afford and how much money do I need? Or what's a mortgage? And how do I apply for a mortgage loan? And what's the timeline? How long does the process take? Let's be honest. Buying a home can be exciting, emotional, and daunting, especially when interest rates are at an all-time low, the demand for homes is at an all-time high, and competition is fierce. The good news is I'm here to answer your questions and streamline the entire learning process by providing you with an 8-episode educational series on the home buying process for beginners. Each episode will focus on a specific milestone in the home buying life cycle, which will explain in detail the steps needed to successfully buy a home. Now, it starts with preparation and it ends with closing the sale. If you're a first-time home buyer, you will not want to miss out, so stay tuned. Hello everyone, my name is Jorge Salcedo. I am a mortgage advisor and this is the Home Equity Coach. We are a community of homeowners, investors, and real estate and mortgage experts. Our goal is simple. It's to provide homeownership education, share our experiences, and empower our members with knowledge so that they can buy and sell real estate with confidence. Now, whether you are a first-time homebuyer or a multi-unit investor, our value proposition is to share information, tips, and tools to help you achieve your home ownership goals. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly and we can schedule a free consultation. I am a mortgage advisor licensed in multiple states, and you can visit our website below. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please like, share, follow, and subscribe to my channel so that you can be up to date with relevant home buying information. You do not want to miss out on this valuable content. So let's get started. The path towards a successful homeownership experience begins with developing a real estate and mortgage roadmap, which I like to call the 8 phases of the home buying process. Now, each phase is broken down into its own educational module that you can view on my channel at any time. The starting point on this roadmap is Module 1, the preparation phase. Now, this is where I share the steps needed to prepare yourself financially and mentally before you even start looking for a home. Module 2 is mortgage financing. And in this phase is where we focus on everything that deals with qualifying for a mortgage loan. From selecting a lender, the appropriate loan program, and getting that highly coveted pre-approval letter, we cover it all. Module 3, we're going to focus on the steps needed to partner up with a real estate agent. Now, that episode will include everything from how to search for an agent, what questions to ask your agent, how to look up that realtor's license, and more. Once you have a lender, a pre-approval letter, and a real estate agent to work with, you can now start the home shopping process. Module 4 is all about house hunting tips and best practices to buy your dream home. Now I have a question for you. How will you search for your home? Is it virtual, in person, or both? Let's say you find a home that you love and you want to buy it. What's next? Well, Module 5, you make an offer and wait to see if the seller will counter, reject, or accept your offer. Now, if your offer is countered, then you're going to have an opportunity to negotiate. What does an offer consist of? What if you receive a counteroffer? What do? Do you keep your appraisal and loan contingencies? Should you offer over asking price? Should you ask for closing cost credits? Well, in this phase, you want to make sure you understand the documents in the agreement, the timeline, the milestones, responsibilities, and who the key stakeholders involved in the transaction are. Now, let's say you submit the offer and it's accepted. Now what? Well, Module 6. This is the agreement. After the seller receives your offer and the negotiation is complete, both the seller and the buyer reach an agreement. Your offer is accepted and the real estate purchase agreement is fully executed by all parties, and you will have a binding contract to perform. Now, this is where all the key stakeholders, such as the lender, the title and escrow company, the inspection company, are all finalized. It is at this point that you immediately send copies of your purchase agreement to your lender so they can start on your loan. Module 7 is when you are under contract, also known as open escrow. What is an escrow? Who's involved? How long does it take? What documents will you need to sign, and what are your responsibilities? This is when your earnest money deposit is collected and the appraisal and home inspection are scheduled. An escrow company will facilitate the closing process unless you're in an attorney state, and then an attorney will take care of it. Module 8. Well, this is when you are clear to close your loan and you're scheduled an appointment with the notary or the local attorney's office to sign all of the final documents. Congratulations, it's all done. Transaction is finalized. You get the keys to your new home, and now the real fun begins. Now, in this video, we're going to focus on the preparation phase of the home buying 101 process. Here we will cover the fundamentals and guide you through the preliminary steps to take before you start your homeownership journey. So take out a piece of paper and a pen and get ready to take notes because class is in session. Welcome to episode 1, the preparation phase. And we start off with recognizing the importance of preparing yourself mentally and financially when you buy a home. Now, it's important to have realistic expectations right from the beginning so that you eliminate unnecessary risks, heartbreaks, and headaches. Understand that you are going to have to kiss a few toads before you find your prince or your princess. Chances are you're not going to buy the first home you put an offer on. So be prepared to deal with an extremely competitive environment. And know that you might have to look at 10 to 20 homes and put offers on all of them before getting one accepted. Having patience will allow you to make the right decision at the right time instead of pulling the trigger prematurely and losing the opportunity to get the home you really, really wanted. Now, let me ask you a question. What is your timeline? When do you plan on becoming a homeowner? Remember, it's a process and it can take several months. Remember, it takes time to save enough money for a down payment and your closing costs, to build up your credit, and to find the right home, and then finally to close on that loan. So preparing yourself financially is the second part of preparing yourself to buy a home. And the first thing a lender will look at when taking in a mortgage application is, you guessed it, your credit score and your credit report. Now, let me ask you a question. What is your credit score? Is it fair? Is it good? Or is it great? You should aim to get your credit score as high as possible. A credit score of 680 and above provides buyers with more loan options and decent pricing. If your credit score is not where you need it to be, well, the good news is you can take steps today to incrementally increase your score for the future. But it takes time. It can take weeks, months, even years to get your credit score where you need it to be. Cash is king, and you're going to need money for the down payment and for your closing costs. Start saving money today by budgeting every paycheck and paying off debt. Now, you may need extra money to fix, repair, and upgrade your new home, so plan accordingly. The standard down payment for a first-time home buyer on a conventional loan will vary between 3 to 5%. FHA home buyers can put 3.5% down, and VA and USDA borrowers have 0% no money down options. There are down payment assistance programs available if you qualify. Ask your lender if they offer down payment assistance programs. In addition to the down payment, you will also most likely pay for your closing costs out of pocket. Closing costs typically range from 2% to 5% of the home's purchase price. For example, if you buy a $300,000 home, your closing costs can range from $6,000 to $15,000. Closing cost fees vary depending on your state, your loan type, and your mortgage lender. So it's important to pay close attention to these fees. Now we're going to cover 5 important topics when preparing yourself to buy a home. And it starts with number 1, taking the necessary steps to avoid unnecessary headaches. Now I'm going to share real life examples of the pain points that first-time homebuyers have experienced due to a lack of preparation and the solutions I was able to provide to remedy their situation. Number 2, qualification. This is where we analyze 3 important factors that play a vital role that determine your financial credibility. Number 3, property types. So you have an idea of the type of home you would like to buy, but you aren't sure which type of home will match your lifestyle and needs. We're going to discuss 6 property types available to first-time homebuyers. Number 4, what's a mortgage? Here, we're going to define what a mortgage is, what the components of a mortgage consist of, and what loan programs are available, what the mortgage application looks like, and what documents you will need to validate your income, your employment, and overall qualification. Number 5, the timeline. This is where I will break down the realistic time frame that it will take from start to finish when you get the keys to your home. Now, I wanted to share a famous quote that resonated with me when I was in grad school. And it's, as you can see, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. This is accurate and true when buying a home. You are exposing yourself to risk, and in order to mitigate that risk, it is wise to do your homework. Now, the risk to home buyers is time and money. I have heard horror stories of borrowers not getting their dream home and losing their down payment deposit because they weren't prepared. Now, if you want to avoid headaches, it's important to prepare yourself, which is why I'm so happy that you are watching this video. Now, for the past few months, I have been on back-to-back consulting phone calls with first-time home buyers who are interested in learning how they can buy a home. Now, these future homeowners shared 3 common pain points that frustrated them the most. These pain points could have been easily avoided if they would have watched this video. Now, the first common pain point was that, number 1, there is too much overwhelming information available and they don't know where to begin their home buying journey. Let's be honest, there's tons of clickbait and get-rich-quick influencers giving misleading information. It's difficult to find a trustworthy source. Number 2, some first-time home buyers were frustrated because they were already working with a loan officer or a real estate agent who were taking a transactional approach instead of an educational approach in assisting first-time home buyers. Well, unfortunately, some loan officers and realtors aren't taking the time to educate or explain the fundamentals to their clients. Number 3, it's a seller's market. What does that mean? It means that competition is so fierce, buyers are flooding the market, inventory is scarce, and multiple offers, are getting submitted to the same property over the asking price. And sellers, they get to cherry pick who they want to buy their home. That's why it's imperative that you bring your A game with you when you start the process. so that you can increase your chances of getting the home you love on your first try when presenting your offer. Now, although these three common pain points are frustrating, the good news is that there is a strategic plan to overcome these issues. Let's provide the solutions to overcome these issues, starting with number 1. Yes, there is an abundance of information out there, and it's easy to get lost in the ocean of clickbait, inaccurate, and disjointed information. I'm going to help you narrow your search by providing you with a structured and curated series of educational home buying courses that will guide you through the entire home buying process from beginning to end. The courses that I will provide are designed to fill in those knowledge gaps and answer common questions. Number 2, I'm going to take an educational approach and explain in detail the steps in the home buying process and answer all of your questions to empower you with knowledge so that you have confidence to take control of your home buying process with decisive action. Now, if you're currently with a real estate agent or a loan officer and you feel like they're not answering all of your questions or are not providing you with the level of attention you deserve, do not worry. You can always reach out to me directly at any time by calling, texting, or emailing me to get a second opinion. Number 3, although it's a seller's market and it's extremely competitive, the key is to differentiate yourself from other home buyers so that you stand out. Now, we're going to accomplish this by providing you with a first-time home buyer's roadmap and connect you with community members and experienced professionals so that you can form a team of heavy hitters. And it starts with me. I am a mortgage professional. I'm licensed in multiple states throughout the US, so lean on me for support. And also, subscribe to our Facebook page and other social media pages today and be part of our community. So let's start with the first lesson on mortgage loan qualification. Qualifying for a mortgage loan is all about your financial credibility, your income eligibility, and your ability to repay the loan. Here we must answer a few important questions such as, are you financially credible on paper? Are you eligible for a qualified mortgage? Are you able to repay the loan? Well, we answer these 3 questions by analyzing 3 important factors that play a vital role in determining your qualification, starting with your credit profile. Now, your credit profile is your credit report and your credit score. There are 3 credit bureaus that collect and report your credit history. These bureaus are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. A credit score can range between 300 and 850 points. FICO is the official credit scoring model that lenders use to help accurately predict a consumer's ability to repay a debt on time. Do not rely on other third-party monitoring services like Credit Karma because they are not used when qualifying a borrower for a mortgage. Your credit score places your profile into a specific credit tier that lenders use to price your loan. Higher credit scores give you access to preferred loan programs and lower interest rates. Lower credit scores, well, they're going to limit your loan program eligibility, and it's going to result in higher interest rates or extra fees. Now, there are 5 factors that determine your credit score. These factors are your payment history, the amount of total debt that you carry, the credit length, new credit, and the types of credit you have. Payment history is the most important factor. Make all of your payments on time. 30, 60, or 90-day late payments will drastically affect your score. Now, the amount of debt that you carry is the second most important factor that affects your credit. Keep your debt balances at 0 or as low as possible. Credit length is the third most important factor, and the longer you have established credit lines, the better. Do not close a credit account if you are in good standing, as that may lower your credit score. Now, your income and debt play a significant role in your qualification as well. Your gross monthly income is used to qualify for a mortgage loan. Gross income is your income before taxes and insurances are taken out. Now, you may have multiple sources of income, so be prepared to be drilled with questions, and the more information you provide your loan officer, the better off you're going to be. Some common questions that I like to ask home buyers are, what are your income sources? How do you get paid? Are you a wage earner or are you self-employed? Are you retired or disabled and receive fixed income? Do you receive a W-2 or a 1099? Do you have rental property? How long have you been receiving this income? And do you report it on your tax returns? Your work history also plays a vital role in determining your qualification. The goal is to have at least 2 years of solid work history at the same job or at different jobs, but within the same industry and within the same job function or same role. Now, if you have less than 2 years of work history, where did you work before? Did you switch careers? Were you a student? Were you in the military? Was there a gap in your employment history? If so, be prepared to explain why. Debt is a financial obligation that must be paid in a timely manner. Credit card expenses, car loan payments, student loan payments, etc. are all examples of debt, and carrying less debt is better. Lenders use a formula known as the debt to income ratio, or DTI for short, to determine if you qualify for a new mortgage loan. Your debt to income ratio is all of your monthly debt payments divided by your gross monthly income. This number is one way lenders measure your ability to manage the monthly payments to repay the money you plan to borrow. For example, let's just say you pay $3,000 a month in debt payments and you make $6,000 a month. In this example, your DTI would be 50%, which is high. Ideally, a DTI less than or equal to 43% is the sweet spot. FHA and VA loan programs are flexible when it comes to allowing DTIs around 50%. Now, an asset is anything of value or a resource of value that can be converted into cash. Lenders will ask how much cash or liquid assets you have available. This is the source where you will get the money for the down payment of your home. Examples of assets would be the money that you have in your bank accounts, your money market funds, retirement savings, etc. Assets act as a safety net in the event that you lose your job or become temporarily incapacitated. Lenders want to make sure you have a backup source of funds so you can continue to make your mortgage payments on time. Now, some loan programs require that you have 6 to 12 months worth of reserves in your bank accounts. If your monthly mortgage payment is $2,000 a month, then a 6-month reserve would be 6 times $2,000, which equals $12,000 in assets. That would be required. So now you know what a mortgage lender is going to look for. So make sure you work with an experienced mortgage professional that can ensure that you qualify for a mortgage loan. Next, let's take a look at the types of properties that are available on the market. Now, you may or may not have an idea of the type of home you would like to buy. I'm going to discuss 6 common property types that may match your lifestyle and your needs. We're going to begin with a single family residence, which is a standalone residential home, detached property with no common walls, on its own plot of land. It's used as a single dwelling unit and it possesses a backyard and a front yard. A condo is a privately owned individual unit within a building of other units. Owners share multiple common walls with their neighbors, and they also have joint interest in common areas such as pools, garages, elevators, outside hallways, and gyms, to name a few. Now, condos have an additional monthly expense known as the Homeowners Association fee, known as HOA. This fee must be paid monthly or quarterly by owners. Homeowners associations collect these fees to assist with maintaining and improving properties in the condo community. And that will also be counted into your debt to income ratio. Townhouse is a hybrid between a single family residence and a condo. A townhouse is a single-family home that shares one or more walls with other independently owned units. There are often rows of uniform homes, 2 stories or taller. There is an HOA payment as well. The difference between a townhome and a condo is that usually there may or may not be a small yard or private exterior space in the unit. Multi-family homes are multiple units on a piece of land. They can be attached or detached. A residential loan allows borrowers to buy up to 4 units maximum on a plot of land. The unit types can range from a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. Properties with 5 units or more are considered commercial property, which requires completely different type of financing. Manufactured homes are prefabricated homes that are permanently attached to land. It can be single or double wide. Now, Fannie Mae defines a manufactured home as a dwelling of at least 400 square feet and at least 12 feet wide. Some of you may want to build your own dream home from the ground up, and you're going to need to buy land to build that home. Land is soil, grass, or dirt, and the local county tax assessor assigns a unique number to that land, which is known as an assessor's parcel number, APN. Land can be either improved or unimproved. Unimproved land is defined by its lack of services and utilities such as electricity, water, telephone, or even street access. Improved land tends to have services I mentioned available. Now, when qualifying for a lot loan, make sure you speak to a lender that offers lot loan programs. So now that you have a general idea of the different types of properties available, ask yourself, which one of these properties types best matches your lifestyle and your needs? Is it a single-family residence or a condo? Or maybe it's a manufactured home? Next up, we're going to answer the question, what is a mortgage? Let's define what a mortgage is. A mortgage is a secured loan specifically for the purchase of a home or land. Like every loan, there's a promise to pay back the money you borrowed. The home is collateral in case you default on the loan. There are a set amount of time and predetermined payments. The mortgage is amortized, which is the process of spreading the repayment of a loan over a specific time frame. Now let's deconstruct a mortgage by looking at its components. A mortgage is made up of multiple components, and I'm going to start with the mortgage payment. Now, the mortgage payment is comprised of 4 variables, and these variables are the principal, the interest, the tax, and the insurance portion of your monthly mortgage payment. Principal is the amount of money borrowed that you are paying back. Interest is the cost of borrowing that money. Taxes are the amount of property taxes owned every year. Insurance is your homeowner's insurance policy or hazard insurance, same thing, that you pay for on a monthly basis, which is also referred to, as I mentioned, hazard insurance. Now, when you combine these variables, it's commonly known as PITI for short. The total monthly payment of the mortgage is strongly correlated to the following mortgage variables. The interest rate that you qualify for will be determined by your financial credibility, as we discussed. Next is the type of rate you select. The rate type can either be fixed or adjustable. Fixed is where the rate does not change for the entire life of the loan. The benefit here is that you know exactly what you have to pay every month, and there are no surprises, and you can budget accordingly. Now, fixed rates are great if you know for a fact that the home you purchased is your forever home. There is also an adjustable rate, also known as an ARM, where the rate will be fixed for a few years and then will change according to the market. Now, ARMs are great if you plan to sell your home within 3 to 10 years. ARMs traditionally have lower rates and make sense if the home you buy isn't going to be your forever home. The down payment is important because it will determine whether or not you are going to pay an additional payment known as mortgage insurance or private mortgage insurance, aka PMI. Now, if you put anything less than 20% down, you're going to pay a monthly mortgage insurance fee unless you pick a lender-paid mortgage insurance option. More on lender-paid mortgage insurance options in Module 2 of the home buying process. Now, do not confuse a mortgage insurance with homeowner's insurance because they're different. Mortgage insurance protects the lender in the event that you default on your loan. Now, homeowner's insurance is the insurance you get to protect your home from natural disasters or damages. Loan amounts matter because there are set loan amounts and limits that vary by county. The conforming loan limit for 2021 is $548,250. If your loan amount is equal to or below that conforming loan limit, your rate is going to be much lower than it would be if it were to borrow an amount that is above the 548 threshold. Now, if your loan amount is higher than $548,250, your loan is now considered a non-conforming loan, also known as a jumbo loan. Now, your home location matters because some areas in the US are considered high-cost areas, and they allow you to increase the loan limit above the conforming loan limit. An example is Los Angeles, California, where the average home price is $700,000, which is higher than the conforming loan limit. Higher loan limits are known as high balance or jumbo loans, and the rates are slightly higher because there's a greater risk involved in lending large amounts of money. Ownership type can either be primary residence, a second home, or an investment property. Loan rates, terms, costs are better when you buy the home as a primary residence. A second home or an investment home will require that you put more money down, usually a minimum of 10% to 25%, and the interest rates are going to be higher. Property type can be either single-family residence, condo, townhome, multi-unit, manufactured home, or land as discussed earlier. Now, property type affects your rate and loan program eligibility. Now, the loan term can be 10, 15, 20, or 30-year loan. The shorter the term, the lower the interest rate. There are multiple loan programs to choose from as well. Examples are conventional, FHA, VA, and more. Now, we're going to discuss the loan programs later. Loan documents are important because they contain items that you should be familiar with, such as the mortgage note, the deed of trust, the closing disclosure, etc., which summarizes all of your mortgage details. Now, I'm going to walk you through a quick example of the monthly mortgage payment for illustration purposes. To make it simple, we won't include any HOAs or PMI, so let's just say you borrowed $360,000 to purchase a home. It's a 30-year fixed loan, which is broken down into 360 payments. Remember that there are 12 months in a year, right? And if you multiply that times 30 years, that equals 360 months, 360 payments. Let's just say your interest rate is 2.5%. Do you know what your monthly mortgage payment would be? Well, the principal payment would be $1,000, and that is the money needed to pay back the $360,000, the loan that you borrowed. The monthly interest would be $422. Remember, interest is the cost of borrowing money. So if you want to calculate what the monthly interest would be, use a mortgage calculator. For now, that variable is given. Make it easy here. Now let's say the annual property tax on your home is $4,500. If you divide that by 12, that equals $375 a month. Now let's say your annual home insurance premium is $1,200. Divide that by 12 months, and the monthly payment would be $100. So let's add up these numbers to get the total monthly mortgage payment, which would be $1,879. Did I lose you? If so, rewind, rewatch. If you want to know how much home you can afford, make sure you watch educational video number 2 titled Mortgage Financing, and that will break it down for you. Let's talk about the stakeholders so that we know who the interested parties are. The trustor is the buyer, or in this case, you. The trustee is a neutral third party that holds the property in trust for the lender until the full loan balance of the loan is paid off. The beneficiary is the lender, the party lending the money. And that pretty much wraps up what a mortgage is and what mortgage components are. Next up, let's discuss mortgage loan programs. There are many loan programs available, and you are going to fall into either one of these two categories. These two category loan programs are conventional and government-backed loan programs, also known as non-conventional loans. Now, conventional loans are broken down into two subcategories, which are conforming and non-conforming loans. We're going to deconstruct the conventional loan first by understanding the differences between conforming and non-conforming loans. Conforming loans are mortgages that conform to the financing loan limits set by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, and most importantly, they meet the underwriting guidelines set by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Now, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are known as government-sponsored enterprises. They're pretty much private companies. They are sponsored by the U.S. government, and they securitize residential mortgages and then sell them to investors as mortgage-backed securities. In other words, just to make it easy, Fannie and Freddie buy your loan from the lender that gave you the money to buy your home. Freddie and Fannie write the rules, and lenders will comply so that they can get more money to keep lending it out to other buyers. Now, non-conforming loans, on the other hand, are not regulated by Fannie Mae nor Freddie Mac. Private lenders are now responsible for the insurance or the guarantee of these loans. Non-conforming loans, the amounts fall just above the loan limit set by Fannie and Freddie, and these are known as jumbo loans. On the other side of the home mortgage spectrum are government-backed loans. Now, the three most popular government-backed loan programs are VA, FHA, and USDA. Now, VA, FHA, and USDA are federal agencies that do not lend out money. Instead, they insure or guarantee that money so that approved private lenders can lend their money out. Now, since these loans are government-backed, they are considered to be low risk to private lenders, and as a result, will have lower rates and flexible guidelines. Now, VA loans are loans guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, and by far are the best loans on the market for those current and former members of the U.S. Armed Forces. Now, if you are an active duty or a veteran, and this loan is for you. Now, FHA loans are loans insured by the Federal Housing Administration and are great for home buyers whose credit and overall financial situation aren't exactly where they would like it to be. If you have low to mid credit scores or a higher DTI ratio, FHA has flexible guidelines and lenient standards, which provide borrowers a little bit more latitude in qualifying. Now, USDA loans are loans insured by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and it provides low-interest mortgages with zero down payments designed for low-income Americans who don't have good enough credit to qualify for traditional mortgages. Now, USDA loans are used to buy homes in designated rural areas or suburban locations with small populations. Now, for a list of rural areas that qualify for USDA financing, visit their website. Let's start with breaking down conventional loans. Okay? In 2021, the maximum conforming loan limit for a one-unit property in most counties across the entire United States is $548,250. Now, if you buy a home and put down a down payment on your purchase, the money you borrowed would have to be less than or equal to the 548 number in order for the loan to be considered a conforming loan. Now, there is an exception in high-cost areas such as Los Angeles, California, where the ceiling for conforming mortgage limits can go up to $822,375. Conforming loans follow Fannie and Freddie guidelines and have benefits such as lower rates and lower fees. Now, the minimum down payment is 3 to 5%. The minimum credit score is 620. However, lenders might add what is called pricing adjustments or overlays to your loan. Remember, lenders have the final say on what the minimum credit score requirements are going to be. Now, if your down payment is less than 20% and you borrow more than 80% to buy a home, then you're going to have to pay monthly mortgage insurance, also known as PMI. PMI is like mortgage insurance that protects the lender in the event that you default on your mortgage and the home goes into foreclosure. Now, the maximum debt-to-income ratio, or DTI, is 45%, depending on what your credit score is and other qualification factors. There are no funding fees when it comes to this loan. Occupancy is very important because conventional loans allow buyers to purchase their home as either primary residence, a second home, or an investment home. Now, this is important to understand because government loans do not allow buyers to purchase a home as a second home or an investment home. So the interest rates for conforming loans are lower than non-conforming loans. A few examples of other conventional loan programs are Home Possible, Home Ready, and FHA Advantage, which are specialty mortgage programs for first-time home buyers or income qualifying borrowers, and it allows lower down payments, lower interest rates, and reduced PMI. Next are non-conforming loans, and they do not meet Freddie or Fannie guidelines. Now, if your loan amount is greater than $548,250, your loan is considered a jumbo loan unless you're in a high-cost area. Now, the minimum down payment is 5% if you're buying a primary residence, 10% down if you're buying a second home, or up to 20% if you're buying an investment home. The minimum credit score is typically around 680. If you drop 20% down, you won't have to pay private mortgage insurance. The maximum DTI is 43%. There are no funding fees. The interest rates are a bit higher, and so are the monthly payments. And non-conventional loans are considered a bit riskier to lenders, and lenders will scrutinize the borrower's qualifications and tighten those requirements. Now, if you don't qualify for a conventional loan, do not worry. You can always see if a government-backed loan works for you instead. So we start off government-backed loan programs with my favorite loan, which is the VA loan. The VA follows the conforming loan limits set by Fannie and Freddie as a baseline. However, some lenders will lend up to $2 million on a single family home. If you have full entitlement, there is no loan limit. The VA program allows 100% financing, which means zero money down when buying a home. This is huge. Technically, the VA doesn't have a minimum credit score requirement, but lenders do, and they will add additional overlays to protect their interests. A safe credit score range would be, I would say, a score higher than 620. There is no monthly mortgage insurance on VA loans, even if you put less than 20% down. That's right. With zero money down, you won't pay any monthly mortgage insurance. This is amazing. Now, the DTI, or the debt-to-income ratio, can be as high as 50%, or in some cases even higher due to lenient underwriting requirements. VA loans do have a funding fee, and that can range between 0 and 3.6% of the loan amount. If you have a service-related disability of 10% or more, then you are exempt from that funding fee. When it comes to occupancy, government loans do not allow buyers to purchase a home as a second home or an investment home. It has to be a primary residence, and there are no exceptions. Now, unless you buy a multi-unit property and live in one of the units and then rent the others. So you can do that. Next, FHA loans. And the loan limits vary by county. If you buy a one-unit home in a high-cost area, your loan limit can go as high as $822,375. FHA does allow a low down payment of 3.5% with credit scores as low as 500. However, not all lenders are going to lend money to an applicant if they have a 500 credit score. Lenders apply overlays or additional restrictions on top of those requirements. Also, the lower your credit score, the tighter the requirements become. So if you have a credit score of 680 or above, you're in a good spot. If you put anything less than 20% down on a loan, you're going to pay monthly mortgage insurance. With FHA, if you put anything less than 10% down, you're going to have monthly mortgage insurance for the life of the loan. That's right, maybe even 30 years. So when it comes to the debt to income ratio, 50% is the maximum. Your loan may be manually underwritten if your DTI is a bit higher. There is an upfront mortgage insurance premium of 1.75%. This premium is multiplied to your loan amount and then added to your closing costs. Next are USDA loans. And these loans have no loan limit and allow 100% financing with no money down to purchase a home. A credit score of 640 or above is ideal. These loans are not subject to a monthly mortgage insurance payment, and the debt to income ratio is about 50%. There is a funding fee of 1% that is multiplied to the loan amount and added to the closing costs. For a more in-depth analysis of all of these loan programs, make sure you watch my mortgage financing video available on my channel. So now that we analyzed both conventional and government-backed loan programs, which one do you think best meets your needs? Next, let's explore the mortgage application process. Now, the mortgage application is designed to capture important personal information such as your income, your employment, residential history, assets, liabilities, and credit score. Be truthful when filling out the application. Are you applying as an only borrower, or are you adding your spouse, your family member, or a friend as a co-borrower? You're going to be asked to provide your current property address along with your 2-year residential history. You're going to be asked, what is your income, right? Do you have multiple sources of income streams, right? Are you currently employed? How long have you had that job? Do you work full-time or part-time? Are there gaps in your work history? Are you self-employed? Do you have multiple jobs? These are all questions you're going to be asked. Now, assets are liquid cash or accounts where money is stored that can be quickly liquidated to use in order to pay your closing costs or your down payment. Liabilities are your debts and monthly financial obligations. Do you have a mortgage that you co-signed? Do you have a car loan, a school loan? Do you pay child support or alimony? You're going to get asked these questions. So a credit report is required, and the loan officer will ask you for your date of birth and your social security number. Some of you may feel uncomfortable when it comes to divulging your personal information to a stranger, which is completely understandable. I would do my homework and research the lender before I call or fill out an application online. Loan officers, are state or federally licensed, and they spend hundreds of hours keeping their licenses compliant and up to date. So be rest assured you will be dealing with professionals. Now, without your personal information, your loan officer cannot determine if you are eligible for a mortgage loan. Remember, this is an open-ended dialogue, and this is your opportunity to ask as many questions as you can, so do not be shy. Now, I wanted to share some tips with you. You will have the option of completing an application online or over the phone. I personally prefer to fill out applications over the phone. I have a list of popular questions that I ask on the mortgage financing video available on my channel, so make sure you check it out. Next, I would vet the lenders and shop with at least 2 or 3 other lenders. Google, Yelp, Zillow, these are all great research resources. Loan officer information is available on the NMLS website, which is a national database of all licensed loan officers. Just Google NMLS lookup and enter the loan officer's name. You can see his or her experience, and most importantly, if they have had any disciplinary action in the past. Now, I strongly recommend that you talk to at least 2 or 3 lenders over the phone. You want to ask them as many questions as possible and get answers for your specific situation. Now, you won't get that experience if you do it online. The best part about this educational experience is that there is no cost. All right? There's no obligation to you whatsoever. If you ever find yourself in a situation where the lender or the loan officer is asking you for an upfront fee to complete your application, run away. In addition, ask your lender or your loan officer to walk you through your credit report. You would be surprised on what you may uncover. Maybe there was a late payment or a collection that shouldn't have been there. right? Or maybe you forgot about it. By taking care of these potential derogatory marks on your credit report today, can increase your credit score and chances of getting a lower interest rate in the future. Now, once your application is complete, the next step is to provide your lender with documents to validate the information you just provided. This will allow the lenders to verify and qualify you for your loan, which is really, really important. Now, the application documents that you will provide depend on your employment classification. For example, if you are a wage earner, you will provide 1 month's worth of your most recent pay stubs and the last 2 years of your W-2s. Wage earners are individuals who work for a company and receive wages or are a yearly salary. Now, if you are on fixed income, you will provide the most recent Social Security award letter and or pension 1099 statements. If you are self-employed, it will be the last 2 years of your tax returns, maybe 1099 statements if you're a contractor, W-2s if you pay yourself, and 6 to 12 months worth of profit and loss statements. Now, if you own property and receive rental income, you will need to report the income or loss from your rental property by providing your lender with a copy of your tax returns and your Schedule E Form 1040. All applicants, no matter who you are, must provide a government ID, 2 months worth of bank statements, asset statements, and other legal documents as well. Legal documents include, but are not limited to, a divorce judgment, child support or alimony documentation. If you are active duty in the military, you're going to need a statement of service, a DD-214, or a certificate of eligibility. Now, the information that I just provided isn't exact, and different lenders will ask for different documents. But overall, this is a general list that I'm comfortable sharing. I won't go into details or belabor this topic. The lender you choose to work with will go over the specific list that will fit your scenario. And once your application is complete, okay, and you have provided your lender with your application documents, the loan officer will review and they're going to verify your information. And alas, he or she will provide you with a pre-approval letter. Okay, real estate agents won't even show you homes until you provide them with a pre-approval letter. So watch episode 2 of this 8-episode educational series. It's called Mortgage Finance to get a detailed step-by-step outline on how to qualify for a mortgage loan. Now, a very common question that future homeowners ask is, how long does the home buying process take? Well, the answer is, it depends. It depends on the buyer's timeline, right? Buying a home is a huge undertaking and it requires planning, timing, budgeting, and execution. Preparing yourself to buy a home is the first step in the home buying process, and that can take weeks. You watched the video, you took notes, and hopefully you have identified some opportunities you can work on to expedite the process and improve your chances of qualifying to buy a home. Now, when you are comfortable with taking the next step, it would make sense to reach out to a lender to see if you qualify for a mortgage loan. Now, this phase can take days, even weeks. Honestly, it really just depends if you're ready to pull the trigger. Looking for a real estate agent to work with is next and also can take weeks. You may start with one or multiple agents at first, or you may switch during the process. But once you do find an agent, he or she will begin to email you daily listings of homes that meet your criteria. Your house hunting begins, and you're going to schedule multiple showing appointments with your real estate agent. So buckle up, right? And make sure you have enough gas in your car because you're going to be driving, especially in this market. Now, in this market, you're going to want to act quickly and be the first person to see and submit an offer to buy a home so that you can increase your chances of getting that home. House hunting can take up to 6 months, sometimes even longer. It all depends on how competitive the market is and the type of borrower you are. Cash buyers are given priority in this market. I know it's unfair, right? Oh well. And they have more leverage than a 3.5% down payment buyer. Some of you may be looking for a turnkey home that is ready to move in. Others may be okay with the fixer-upper, right? Once you find a home that meets your criteria, you then make an offer. Usually, selling agents will want to gather as many offers as possible before they present them to the seller. And this can take a few days, maybe a week. Your real estate agent should have his finger on the pulse and have an idea of how the competition looks like, so that you can present your offer in the most attractive manner possible. Now, this may mean you will have to offer a little bit more, or waive a few contingencies, or shorten the contract period. There are many levers, right, that you can pull, and sales tactics that you can use to make your offer more attractive to the sellers. Now, your offer may be rejected, it may be countered, or it might be accepted. So be ready and always put your best foot forward. Now, if your offer is accepted, there is now an agreement and the clock starts to click or to tick. It's go time. All right, so this takes about a day to get all of the signatures from both parties, and it's important to sign all of your documents. Now, escrow, or the closing process, takes an average of 30 days from start to finish. Cash buyers can close in 15 days or less. Lenders can close loans between 21 days and 30 days. If the sale is contingent on the seller buying a home, then that will add weeks or months to the transaction. So keep that in mind. Now, when the escrow period ends, your lender will wire the necessary funds to the seller or escrow agent, and the buyer will send their funds to the escrow agent so that you can close the sale. After you sign your final loan documents, the county in which you bought your home will record the deed. This can take a few days. As I mentioned, the timeline can vary from buyer to buyer, and every situation is different. The best thing to do is to prepare yourself and plan accordingly. Guys, we've come to the end of this training module of the home buying process titled The Preparation Phase. I really hope you gained valuable insight and knowledge. I have more content that will guide you through your home ownership journey. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at any time by visiting thehomeequitycoach.com below. I am a licensed mortgage professional in multiple states throughout the U.S., and my goal is to empower you with knowledge so that you can achieve your real estate homeownership goals. Please visit my channel. I'm very passionate about real estate, and I put a lot of effort and energy into this educational module. I would really appreciate your support. If you could subscribe to my channel, like my content, comment with your thoughts and suggestions, and share this video with your family, with your friends, to learn how to qualify for a mortgage loan and see how much you can afford. So make sure you check out video module 2, which is next, and it's the mortgage financing on my channel. Until then, happy house hunting.